guys, welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to do a pirate for you. It's going to be like kind of Jack Sparrow-esque, I suppose. They're not going to be exactly the same, but very similar. Sorry about my face today. I know I'm looking like a hot mess, but I just filmed a tutorial before this one, which was a leopard, and I've taken it all off and it's kind of left a yellow tinge, and I couldn't be bothered to put all my makeup back on top of it. So apologies for that. The first thing we need to do is make our pirate look a little bit tired and a little bit gaunt. So I'm taking a light brown colour on a sponge and just hollowing out the underside of the cheekbones and really blending it in, and also taking some underneath the eyes and just below the lower lip. To create the pirate stubble, I took a stipple sponge, which is a very coarse sponge with lots of little holes in it, and you need to make sure that the paint isn't too wet when using one of these, because otherwise the stubble will drip down the face. So you load it up nice and dry and then just gently press it on the areas where you want the stubble. I took it all over the lower jaw, a little bit on the top lip, and also down the neck. For the bandana, I took a bright red paint on a flat brush and just painted a line straight across my forehead. I did make sure that the line was at a slight angle, so it goes up at one side and lower at the other. And on the lower side, I painted a knot just by drawing a circle, and then straight off of this added two tails. I then took some more of the red paint on a sponge and I just filled in the whole area above the line. You want to make sure the paint is quite solid for this to make it look like material, and you also want to take it right into the hairline because the bandana needs to appear as though it's sitting underneath the hair, so make sure you take it right up to the edge. To add some dimension, I took a dark red colour and just blended this into the outside corners of the bandana. You want to blend it into the red as much as you can, and then I also took a little bit over the knot as well. I wanted to make sure the bandana looked like fabric, so to add a bit of texture I took a stencil with a swirly pattern and just stenciled a darker red over the whole area. You do need to make sure that the red underneath it is pretty much dry, otherwise when you lift the stencil off it will peel off some of the brighter red as well. The next job was to create the pirate's facial hair, and I wanted this to look as realistic as possible. So what I did was take a very little brush and some brown paint, and I just painted wispy lines all over the areas where I wanted the moustache to be. Now the key to getting it to look as real as you can is to do it in layers. So I did one layer, then I went back in with another layer of hair. I think I did about 3 layers with the brown in total. I used the same technique to paint his beard as well, so you need a little triangle underneath the lips and then a small wispy line right along the jaw. Because my eyebrows are really thin, I also needed to fill them out a little bit more and make them more manly, so I just took some brown paint through them and made them really bushy. I wanted to give the areas with the hair a bit more tone and also try and match it into my natural hair colour, so I went over everything with a black paint as well, but very lightly so it almost doesn't show. I took some black paint over my eyelid, and then either using a dry brush or your finger, whichever is easier, you want to smudge the paint out. Don't worry if it doesn't look neat, it wants to be really smudgy and messy. Also take the black paint underneath and do the same thing. Next I painted a skull and crossbones on the bandana. So start off with a white circle right in the centre, and then off of this you want to add a small rectangle just underneath, and that will create the skull's jaw. Then right below you want to start painting your cross. On the very tips of the lines, you want to add 2 little dots, and that will make it look more like bones. I painted a very thin black line in a tiny brush right on the underside of the bandana, and I also outlined the knot and added a bit more detail there. While the paint's still wet, I took the same dry brush as before and just blended some of the lines out to make it look like shadows. Using black, I also added some fold lines in the bandana as well to make it look more realistic. Now, once I painted these on, I thought they looked a little bit too dark, so I took the red sponge and I just dabbed over the top of them to mute them down a bit. Next, I painted a tiny little face on the skull now that the white paint's dry, and I also went in and added a bit of shading around him to make him stand out a bit more. I really wanted the black that outlined the bandana to look more like a shadow, so I took a brush with just water on it and gently smudged it in a bit. And then the very last thing I did as a final touch was to add a little bit of black eyeliner right along the waterline. And there we have our Jack Sparrow inspired pirate. I hope you like it. Don't forget to make sure that the hair is really messy, because pirates did not have hairbrushes, so make it nice and back combed if you can. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to go and follow me on Facebook, because you can put all your suggestions on there of anything that you want to see. It's really distracting because I can see myself in the monitor and I look like a man. I hope you all have a lovely day. I'm off to freak out my husband, and I will see you next time. Bye.